Hey there, I'm Sarita, and you're about to experience the modern approach to well-being where you get to establish the best and most important relationship you will ever have, the one with yourself. I'm on a mission to help you declutter energy and reclaim your power so you can be a magnet to what you desire. If you're looking for the optimal blend of mindset and healing, you're in the right place. My goal in this podcast is to share tools, resources, and practices that will help you along your healing journey. I'm so excited to be here with you today, so welcome to Back to Here with Sarita. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Back to Here with Sarita, the new Manifesting Paradigm podcast. Super excited you're here with me today. I really appreciate your listenership. If you are new, I really love that you are listening to this manifestation podcast with me. And if you have been here for a while, of course, I really appreciate your listenership. You are everything to me. And I love coming at you every other Monday to share with you tips, tools, and resources to help you along your manifestation journey. So if you're catching this on YouTube, you will see that my surroundings have changed. If you follow me on social media, and I have talked about this on my podcast before, that I really embrace a work from anywhere lifestyle. So my podcast goes with me anywhere. So I literally have a traveling podcast where I take my microphone and set up in very different places. At the moment, I am in the East Coast. I was very grateful to have found an amazing pet and house sit here in Virginia in the DC area so I could visit my childhood best friend for the holiday season. So I'm really excited to actually experience an East Coast Christmas. I did that 2 years ago and I absolutely love it. It just feels so authentic to me. I didn't grow up in California. So for me, having the experience of being in the holiday spirit in California isn't as authentic to me. I'm accustomed to it being cold where you can bundle up and really enjoy the season. But that's all just because of my own personal nostalgia and experience as a child. So very excited that I'm here in a new location experiencing the holidays and just wanted to wish you a New Year's. And then also, let's go ahead and jump into the episode because I want to share with you a couple things, make this nice and short and sweet so you're not overwhelmed by a lot of things at the end of the year because I know there is a lot going on. So the intention of this episode is to really help you get clear on some of the themes of your last year so you can get some clarity on maybe some emotions and feelings that you don't want to take into 2025. Like I said, this episode is going to be a little bit more reflection based. So I'm going to start off by sharing with you just a teeny bit about astrology. And then I'm going to share with you some questions that I personally asked myself to help me get some more clarity. And then also I'll share with you some of my own personal takeaways from this year based on the questions that I share with you. So let's go ahead and jump in. So if we were going to break down the year astrologically based, there has been a lot that has occurred. Right now, I'm not going to share with you all the things because that would take a long time. However, I wanted to point out a couple of the things that I know have impacted us on more of a societal level and then also as an individual level. One of the biggest things or transformations that happened in our stars that definitely has impacted us and will continue to impact us over the next almost 2 decades is Pluto moving into Aquarius. I talk a lot more deep about this in my 3 steps to manifest your paid for lifestyle and why it's important when it comes to our manifestations. However, in a very small nutshell, Pluto is all about death and rebirth, and how it was in Capricorn had really focused on a lot more of the masculine top-down structure of our society impacting us. And now that Pluto has moved into Aquarius last month in November, it's really going to shine a lot more of a light on individuality and freedom. So, why is this important right now going into 2025? It's important for you to understand your individual life, your individual characteristics, where you are in your life. Your individuality is the most impactful thing that you can bring to society. Your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions impact those people around you and society itself. So, getting really clear on what maybe is lingering and no longer of service to you, so you can go into the new year 2025 with a lot more of an open heart and an open mind. Another astrological occurrence we had this year that definitely impacted us on a collective level were the eclipses that we experienced. There were a total of four, but there were two in particular that definitely impacted our relationships. One was in Aries and one was in Libra. Aries and Libra are the two astrological signs of the zodiac that will be impacted the most when it comes to relationships. I'm an Aries, so I know this from personal experience that when Aries and Libra have relationships, it's their opportunity to have the most growth. So, since these eclipses were in both of these sister signs, it definitely impacted us on a collective level to review and to notice certain things within our relationships. The last one that I wanted to point out is that Chiron was in retrograde over the last 5 months. In astrology, Chiron is the wounded warrior. So, because it was in retrograde, most likely there were opportunities and things that came to the surface that may have been hidden underneath the surface or amplified in areas that you needed to heal. Maybe childhood wounds and traumas came up. The retrograde will be ending very soon, but then also these last 5 months most likely have highlighted areas that have needed a little extra TLC. And the last thing I wanted to point out is at the beginning of this year, I shared with you that if you add up 2024, it means abundance. One of the things that I've been really impressing upon you on this podcast is that abundance doesn't necessarily mean just about money. If you listen to a handful of the abundance chats of the people that I've had on this particular podcast, you will see that everybody had their own version of what abundance means to them. One of the things I wanted to point out that was a light bulb moment that I personally had about abundance is that abundance can be simply learning more about who you are as a person, understanding yourself, getting to know yourself, and experiencing yourself in a better way. When you have a relationship with yourself, it definitely creates a level of abundance. Okay, now I'm going to share with you a couple questions that I personally ask myself in order to help me draw out themes of things that I desire to take note of from my last year, and maybe some things that I desire to carry into the next year, and things that I desire to release and let go of. Here are a few of the questions that I personally ask myself, and I will have these in the show notes so you can go and reflect on them on your own. What are some of the proudest achievements that you've had in 2024? How did this make you feel? What burned you out? What was the most challenging aspect of 2024? How did that make you feel? From that, what worked and did not work this past year? From this reflection, what can you release and let go of and even forgive yourself for? Let me share with you a few things that I do over the course of the year to help me get a little bit more organized when it comes to answering these questions, so I'm not so overwhelmed in answering and reviewing these particular things that I'm asking you to review. So let me share with you one of the things that I do over the course of the year to help me get a little bit more organized so I'm not so overwhelmed with this particular process when I'm doing it at the end of the year. I learned this a couple years back that I wanted to start making note of my big accomplishments, my wins on my phone. So I keep on my notes on my iPhone, I keep a reflection on all the different things that occurred for me this year that were big wins and big accomplishments that I wanted to remember. So then when it came to doing reflective work, I knew the things that occurred to me this year. Likewise, I also keep note of some of the challenges and blocks that I've encountered over the course of 2024. So then I have a little bit more idea of what are the things that didn't work and what are the things that could improve. From doing this exercise, my big theme takeaway was realizing how much this year has provided me the opportunity to learn how much energy and time that I give to certain things and the choices that I make and the impacts that it has on me. If you've been following this podcast for a while, one of the episodes that I shared with you that was one of the biggest light bulb moments that I've ever had in my life and my big takeaway for 2023 was realizing how much I was seeking and searching for validation and completeness outside of myself. Having that knowledge and awareness in 2024 was definitely supportive to me in understanding how I wanted to show up. But unfortunately, the implementation was a little bit behind. With every experience that I had, definitely helped support me in understanding myself a little bit more, and then also realizing what was worth giving my energy to and what was not worth giving my energy to. I come from a very empathetic energy. I have a moon in Pisces, and I'm very attuned with the energies of the people around me and their emotions. And before I would allow that water to literally run anywhere, and I would have little regard and feelings for myself. A lot of times I would feel responsible for the other person's feelings and emotions. And I would take things personally and have little to no boundaries for myself, which means that I would ended up getting very affected and hurt very easily through things like rejection. The natural tendency, of course, if there was not a desired outcome that I liked, was to withdraw and not allow myself to get close to people or anything. So, what that caused me to believe or realize about myself is this deep seated social conditioning that if I was not emotionally involved or emotionally connected to that person, it meant that I didn't care. I learned in 2024 that I could definitely be energetically invested in somebody, in something, but not be taking things so personally. That I can still deeply care for somebody and something and also have distance and also be disconnected from the outcome and disconnected with how it impacts me. My biggest breakthrough was learning that I can be very, very connected to everybody and everything and yet still be very unattached to everybody and everything. Attachment has been a very huge challenge. I'm a super attachment type style person, meaning I get really anxious and very attached to things very quickly, especially when it comes to outcomes, wanting to have a desired outcome that will match the thing that I really desire has been one of the most challenging aspects of this year, 2024, which makes me realize why I'm a manifestation coach because I'm learning how to be detached. I'm learning how to be involved but disconnected, be connected but unattached. And that's what I support people through is their ability to detach from outcomes and through their manifestation journey for the thing that I personally have struggled with the most. I realized that my ego really got in the way this year, that my attachment has been based on my ego really desiring not to be rejected. Rejection and attachment have been holding hands in my world for quite some time, and it's been interesting to see how rejection has really shown up a lot for me this year. When we think of rejection, we think of like not being able to get a job or rejection from a relationship, but rejection can show up in very, very small instances, and learning how to navigate and let go after you feel like you've experienced rejection has been something that has been very much of a hurdle and challenge for me to go through this year. What I have personally learned is that rejection has been something that that I've experienced over and over again. However, one of the things that's improved is the way that I've been handling rejection. My old self would retreat back into my shell or get very defensive. And as I've experienced rejection over and over again, I've been able to sit with the feelings of rejection because I'm only human. I experience those things, learning what can improve for myself because the only thing that I personally have control of are my thoughts and my emotions. A lot of the times when it comes to rejection, and actually has nothing to do with you, it has to do with the other person and how they're reacting or experiencing you as a person. So most of the time, when I am able to detach from the other person and realize that it's not about me, I'm able to get a little bit more clear on how I can improve my relationship with rejection and myself. So, one of the things I really wanted to point out for you as you're looking at the themes of 2024 and overviewing some of the things and realizing some of the limited beliefs that may be coming to the surface or things that you want to forgive yourself for me, like I said, it's been this feeling and how I've related to rejection is that one of the things is when those things come to the surface, the belief, the limited belief comes to the surface, it's very important to be aware of that belief, but it does not mean that that belief will instantaneously go away just because it's come to awareness. One of the things that I wish someone had shared with me when they first started helping me uncover limited beliefs was to be okay and sit with that feeling of having that belief for as long as you've had, and be okay with the version of you that has experienced that belief for a very long time, and to sometimes feel a little bit remorseful for having that belief in the first place. And then also too, like I just mentioned, realizing just because that belief, that limited belief has come to the surface level of consciousness does not mean that it's going to go away forever. Just like me, when it comes to validation seeking or looking outside of myself for completeness or giving my energy towards things that may not be in my best interest, just because I've had these life lessons and it's come to the surface and come to my awareness doesn't mean that it's not going to come up again. Will I be rejected again? Absolutely. Will it hurt in the future? Yes, I'm totally human. Will I experience it the same way the next time around? Most likely not, because I'm constantly learning how to improve and engage with that relationship of rejection. So same for you as you are reflecting on your 2024 and uncovering themes and aspects of your life that you no longer want to carry into 2025. I want to remind you that just because they've come to the surface does not mean that they will never come forth again. Your experience with that one thing, that experience with that limited belief will not be as harsh or not be as challenging as it was the first time around. So keep going, keep moving forward, and keep evolving, because every time you evolve, you create a new relationship dynamic with yourself, with the universe, and the higher power that be. Okay, that wraps up this episode. Super short and sweet. I really hope that it was supportive to you. Those questions I will have below in the show notes. Want more support in getting really clear on your 2025? I have the perfect offering for you. It's called a frequency magnet audit. It will help you get super duper clear on your desired manifestations and things that you want to create and call in for 2025. I'm opening enrollment for my Bliss Method program, my signature manifestation program that will help you heal your relationship with manifestation so you can create the life that you absolutely love living. All that information will be down below in the show notes. Again, thank you so much for being here with me today in my final episode of 2024. Again, it's such a pleasure and honor to be with you and sharing space with you every other Monday here on Back to Here with Sarita, the new Manifesting Paradigm podcast. Have an amazing, wonderful, safe, happy New Year's. And as always, keep being the amazing you that you are. Take care. Bye. Hey, love. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you adored what you heard, it would mean the world to me if you took a moment to leave a review on the platform you are listening to this episode on. By doing this, you are helping my mission to impact other women with their healing journeys. If you aren't already following me on social media, make sure to connect with me at Sarita Wellness to get your weekly dose of inspiration. I can't wait to be with you in the next episode, but in the meantime, keep being the amazing you that you are.